So I've been playing a lot of Mario Kart recently. Ever since the new DLC came out, I've actually been playing it non-stop. I really didn't expect to be so into it, but the new tracks are really fun, and I'm actually really excited to see what comes next. So much so that I'm actually making a prediction video. I really didn't expect to be doing this either, but here we are. So in this video, I'm going to run down all the tracks that I think have the best chance to return. And I do have a few different criterias here. For example, tracks from Tour have a much higher chance than any other tracks. That's kind of evident in the first wave. Pretty much all the tracks are in Tour, or if they're not in Tour, they have been data mined, I believe. Also, all the waves have to have at least one big fan favorite track. For the first wave, that was obviously Coconut Mall. There are a few others that were popular too, but Coconut Mall was the big one. And then all waves will have no more than one track per game, aside from Mario Kart Tour, obviously. Also, I will be mentioning data mine tracks, so if you don't want any kind of spoilers or anything like that, then maybe don't watch this video, but otherwise, let's get right into it. And so for my first predictions for the Turnip Cup, I'm going to guess London Loop, N64 Koopa Troopa Beach, SNES Vanilla Lake, and Dino Dino Jungle. First off, London Loop, this is pretty much confirmed to be in. It seems like the first track of every cup is going to be some kind of city-based tour track. And the order of them is going to be pretty much impossible to guess, but I'm just going to go ahead and guess London Loop here. And Koopa Troopa Beach, this is a track that's in Tour as well. Most of the retro tracks I'm going to list are from Tour or from data mines for Tour, so just bear that in mind. Koopa Troopa Beach though, this is a classic track. It's obviously from the N64, and a lot of people like this one, a lot of people want to see it back. It was also in Mario Kart 7, and they did some nice things to kind of spruce it up, make it a bit more modern. Next, Vanilla Lake, and actually this one is interesting because Vanilla Lake and Dino Dino Jungle were both actually seen in Coconut Mall. The new version of Coconut Mall has posters for both of these tracks, which pretty much confirms that they're going to be in at some point. It seems like they're doing a bit of a sneaky hint. I decided to put these two tracks together, just because if it is a hint, it could be hinting at the next wave. I also think that since Vanilla Lake and Dino Dino Jungle are both in Tour, they have a pretty much, as good a chance as any. For the Propeller Cup, I'm going to go ahead and guess Los Angeles Laps from Tour, Mushroom Gorge from Mario Kart Wii, 3DS Shy Guy Bazaar, and an unknown course. And I'll explain that when I get to it. But first off, Los Angeles Laps, yeah, this one's just another shot in the dark. We don't know which city track is going to appear in which cup, so it's just a guess. We'll probably see it at some point, but yeah, Los Angeles Laps. Let's move on. Mushroom Gorge, this is a fan favorite, so this one's almost guaranteed to be in. I think there are certain tracks, especially if they're in Tour, that pretty much, they just have to show up. There's a few later on as well, but Mushroom Gorge is one of those really popular, well-known tracks that a lot of people like. It's in Tour, it looks good in Tour, and it's a perfect choice to port over to the DLC. Next we have Shy Guy Bazaar, and this one is kind of an interesting course. There's never really been another track like this actually. It's got an interesting aesthetic, pretty cool theme. You got some Shy Guys flying around on flying carpets, it's pretty cool. And finally, the Unknown Course. This one is a true shot in the dark. This one, I don't actually know what this could be, of course, but here's my prediction. I think every wave will have some kind of unique track in the same vein as Ninja Hideaway. Now there is actually evidence that Ninja Hideaway was originally planned to be a Mario Kart 8 track before it was turned into a Tour track and then turned back into a Mario Kart 8 track for the DLC. That evidence being the fact that it's not actually listed as a Tour track in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Obviously it is in Tour as well, but it's actually classed as a unique course much in the same way that any other track is in Mario Kart 8, So with that in mind, I do think there's a decent chance that actually every wave could surprise us by having some kind of unique track from Tour, or perhaps even just totally unique. Now there'll only be one per wave, they're not going to go too crazy with it, but I think this would be a great way to get people interested in the DLC over time. As for what this track could be specifically, all we really know about unique Tour tracks in the data mines are that there's some kind of track based on ice cream. So, I don't know, maybe this will be some kind of ice cream related tour track that is then ported over to the DLC. Maybe it comes out in the DLC first, I don't know. Next up we have the Rock Cup, which I believe will have Vancouver Velocity from Tour, Mario Circuit from SNES, Luigi's Mansion from the DS, and Rock Mountain from the 3DS. Vancouver Velocity, again, this is just another tour track, another city track. It's a good track. It'll be a pretty fun one to have in Mario Kart 8 for sure, but, you know, again, I can't guess where each of the city tracks is going to be, so I'm just going to say Vancouver Velocity for the Rock Cup. And next, the SNES Mario Circuit. Now this one, obviously, there are different versions of Mario Circuit. I don't know which one it's going to be, I'm just going to say a Mario Circuit. You know, Mario Circuit 1 is kind of on the basic side, Mario Circuit 2 has a bit more to it. Maybe they'll kind of mix it up and do some kind of remix version. Tour actually has remixes of this track, so I don't really know how they'll approach it, but I do think we will end up seeing a Mario Circuit of some kind in this Booster Course DLC. And next we have Luigi's Mansion. I'm only really picking this one for one reason, and that's because around the time that this DLC is likely to come out, this specific wave I mean, it'll probably be, I don't know, October, November time. So maybe they're going to want to have some kind of spooky Halloween track. And it is actually in Mario Kart Tour as well, it's already been remade, so it's a pretty easy choice for them to port over. And then finally we have Rock Mountain, and I'll be honest, the only reason I picked this for this cup is because it has the word rock in it. This track is actually known as Alpine Pass though, over here in the UK, which I don't know if I like that name. Rock Mountain kind of feels more Mario, you know? But anyway. Next up we have the Moon Cup for Wave 3, and this one is going to be New York Minute, Sunset Wilds from the GBA, Koopa Cape from the Wii, and Merry Mountain. So first off we have New York Minute. This one is actually kind of based on New York / New Donk City in Mario Odyssey. Those links to Mario Odyssey could mean that it's in the Moon Cup, just purely because you collect moons in that game. So it's kind of an interesting choice there. Other than that, I don't really have a reason to put it in the Moon Cup, it's just another city track. Anyway, moving on now to Sunset Wilds from the Game Boy. This track has never been remade, which makes it a pretty cool choice. Actually, it has been remade, but in Tour. But yeah, it's still a pretty cool choice. It's never been done in any of the main Mario Kart titles, so it is a pretty cool track as well. It's got a nice theme, a nice gimmick, I guess you could call it, where the sun is actually setting as you're racing on it. And then we have Koopa Cape. This is actually probably my favorite track of all time. I absolutely love Koopa Cape, and I really hope it comes back. It's partly on this list because just how much I love it, but also because it's kind of been data mined. Now, it's not confirmed by any means, but it is one of the tracks listed in a data mine that people have been kind of speculating about. Basically, there's a big banner image with all kinds of different tracks on it, and people have pointed out that various tracks that are not in the game currently are on that banner. One of them is Koopa Cape, and there are a few more. But anyway, let's move on to Merry Mountain. This track is another kind of unique track that was in Tour, but it's not a city track. So that means it would be a good choice to end the wave, just like Ninja Hideaway. Now we're moving on to Wave 4, and we're starting with the Berry Cup. And my predictions for this cup are Berlin Byways, Cheap Island, Daisy Cruiser, and Waluigi Pinball. Berlin Byways, not much to say here. It's another city track. It's gonna start one of the cups. It could be this one, maybe not, we'll see. But Cheap Island, this one is in Tour already, so it would be an easy choice, and it's a pretty cool, relaxing, beach-based level, you know? It would be a fairly simple one to race on, nothing too exciting, but I don't think they're going to want to add in, you know, every single one of the most exciting tracks. There has to be some kind of balance, and I do think Cheap Island would be a solid pick. Next up we have Daisy Cruiser from Double Dash, and this one isn't actually in Tour yet. However, it has been spotted in a data mine for Tour, and also it's been spotted in the background of Coconut Mall, if you can believe it. That ship you see off in the distance, that really does look like Daisy Cruiser, so that could be yet another hint from Coconut Mall. That track really is like the canary in the coal mine. It's kind of crazy. And finally, of course, we have Waluigi Pinball. Now, this track, this is guaranteed, right? I mean, if they don't bring this one back, then they've definitely missed a huge opportunity. This is hugely popular. Everyone loves Waluigi Pinball. It's in tour. It's a no-brainer. Just bring it back, Nintendo. And for the second cup in Wave 4, we have the Boomerang Cup. This one, I believe, will have Sydney Sprint, Frappe Snowland, Woohoo Loop, and another unknown course. So, Sydney Sprint, another city track. The only reason it's here is because of the word boomerang. I know it's a stereotype, but, you know, this is all I have to go off, okay? And next we have Frappe Snowland from the Nintendo 64. This one is in tour already, so that makes it pretty likely. But it's also a pretty cool track, a classic, you could say. A lot of people like it, it's got the cool snowmen. But yeah, this one's a fairly simple track again, and I think it's pretty likely that they'll bring this one back. It's one of the more likely N64 tracks, in my opinion. And next we have Woohoo Loop. I'll be very surprised if we don't see one of the Woohoo tracks. They're pretty popular, a lot of people like them, and they definitely deserve to come back. It's not in tour though, so that does hurt its chances. However, it has been seen, once again, in the data mine. So, whether or not it's actually coming anytime soon remains to be seen. But if the data mine is to be believed, which a lot of people seem to believe it, then, you know, maybe that boosts this course's chances, who knows. Anyway, moving on. Now we have another unknown course. And this one, I don't really know what this one could be. There's absolutely no hints, no evidence for any kind of extra unique courses coming to tour. But we do know that the DLC for Mario Kart 8 is going to extend all the way into 2023, possibly throughout the entire year, so there is a lot of time, basically, for them to make new tracks. And there's definitely going to be a lot more tracks coming to tour in that time as well. So some of the tracks in tour right now might not make it in. Some of the tracks that we don't know are coming to tour, or, you know, we've seen in the data mine, will probably be in the DLC. It's very tough to know for sure, but again, I do think there will be some kind of unique course capping off every single wave, and wave 4 is the same. So that's my prediction, an unknown course. What could it be based on? I don't know. They could base it on pretty much anything. It's Mario Kart, you know, if they're doing an ice cream track, they could do, I don't know, do one based on donuts. I don't know, donut planes. Wait, hold on. Anyway, moving on. For the Feather Cup, I'm going to predict Singapore Speedway, SNES Ghost Valley, DK Summit from the Wii, and Waluigi Stadium. Singapore Speedway is an easy choice. That's another city track that's going to start the cup. And next we have Ghost Valley. This one is a pretty basic track. This was in the Wii game as well. They brought back one of the Ghost Valleys. I have to say I'm not the biggest fan of this track. It feels like a less interesting Banshee Boardwalk. But Ghost Valley is in tour, and it's probably likely they're going to want to have at least a few SNES tracks. And this is probably one of the best choices, so we'll just go with that. Next up we have DK Summit. Once again, it's in tour, but more importantly, it's actually a really popular track. A lot of people love DK Summit. It's definitely one of my favorites. It's really fun. The half pipes are just so fun, and that's pretty much why I want to see it back, but I do think it has a good chance as well. And then finally, Waluigi Stadium caps off the Feather Cup, and this one, once again, has really cool half pipe sections. DK Summit and Waluigi Stadium are both really great courses. Waluigi Stadium isn't in tour though, however, once again, it has been seen in a data mine. So whether or not we'll actually get that, we don't know. You know, you have to take these things with a grain of salt. But Waluigi Stadium is pretty popular. A lot of people really enjoy this one, including myself. And if it's in the data mine, then there's a good chance that it could show up, so. And for the Cherry Cup, we have Amsterdam Drift, Wario Shipyard, Bowser's Castle GBA, and another unknown track. Amsterdam Drift just came out. It's the newest tour track at the time of me recording this, so I do think it's very likely that we'll get that one. We still need, obviously, city tracks in every cup, and at this point I'm starting to run out of them, but Amsterdam Drift definitely going to make an appearance, in my opinion. Next, Wario Shipyard. This one is a 3DS track. It's in Tour, and it's a really cool one actually. I really like this one. It's actually called Wario's Galleon over here in the UK. But anyway, moving on now to GBA Bowser's Castle. I do think it's very likely that we'll get a Bowser's Castle at some point. However, unlike some people, I'm not going to predict multiple Bowser's Castles or multiple Rainbow Roads or anything like that. Personally, I think we're probably only going to get one each. And for Bowser's Castle, I'm going to go ahead and guess GBA Bowser's Castle because it's a tour track that they could port over pretty easily. And then finally, once again, we have another unknown course. I won't really go on and explain why I put this here again. It's the end of the cup, or the end of the wave I should say. So I'm going to guess another unknown, unique track. And finally, we arrive at the last wave with the final two cups, the Acorn Cup and the Spiny Cup. For the Acorn Cup, I'm going to go ahead and say that a Bangkok-related course is going to be in this cup, along with Calamari Desert, Airship Fortress, and Maple Treeway. And the reason I say Bangkok is because actually there's been a data-mined Bangkok track. We don't know the name of it, but all we know is that it's based on the city of Bangkok. So since we're kind of running out of cities now at this point, I think we're going to have to rely on data mines solely for these remaining two cups and the city courses within them. And this is pretty much all I have to go off. But next we have Calamari Desert. This one is a much safer bet. A lot of people enjoy this one. It's a pretty well-known one, being from Mario Kart 64, and it's in Tour. And actually they did something interesting in Tour. They made different versions of it, where you can kind of go down different routes that you weren't able to do before. There's one that apparently goes through the train tunnel. I haven't actually played it, so if I'm wrong about that, then that's my bad. But I do think that there is one that goes straight through that train tunnel, and it's pretty interesting that they did that. What they could do is bring this track back and have those multiple routes. That would make it a lot more fun and a lot more interesting. But either way, I do think it's likely to come back, and I also think Airship Fortress is likely to come back. This one is already in Tour, and it's a track that a lot of people like. It's really cool. Definitely gives you that Super Mario Bros. 3 nostalgia with the airship, and it's just a ton of fun to drive on, and one of my personal favorites as well. And finally, for the Acorn Cup, we have Maple Treeway. This is a hugely popular track. A lot of people love this one, and it's easy to see why. It is really, really visually stunning, you know? It's one of the most beautiful tracks in Mario Kart. It's a fan favorite, it's in Tour. Once again, it's a no-brainer. Bring it back, it's so easy. And finally, the final cup of Wave 6, and therefore the final cup of the entire Booster Course Pass, Spiny Cup. And for this cup, I am predicting a city course, GCN DK Mountain, 3DS Rainbow Road, and a final unknown course. Now maybe you could consider this cheating, but I'm just going to say a city course. I don't know what it could be. Apparently there has been another city course seen in the data mine. We don't know what it is actually based on. If I had to guess though, I would say maybe somewhere in Africa, or perhaps South America, you know. We could see some kind of Brazilian city, or maybe something like Cairo in Egypt. Those would be pretty cool to see. Either way, we're going to get another city course. I also think we're going to get DK Mountain. This one has been data mined for Tour, it's not there yet, and it's a fan favorite, so all those things are working in its favor. So that's why I'm going to predict DK Mountain. But now we also have 3DS Rainbow Road, another track that's in Tour once again, and it has been spotted on that banner I mentioned earlier, so there's a good chance that this one is planned for the game. And again, I only think we're going to get one Rainbow Road. I don't think they're going to go crazy, do a whole cup full of Rainbow Road tracks or anything like that. I think that would be a little bit too much in my opinion. I would prefer them to save the other tracks for future games, you know, when we get another game in, I don't know, 2028. But yeah, 3DS Rainbow Road, it's a really cool one. A lot of people love this one. And finally, we have an unknown course once again. This is purely here, so I'm sticking with my theme of having, you know, the unknown course at the end of every wave. Maybe it's a little bit weird to put it after Rainbow Road, but either way, I'm gonna stick to my prediction here. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say we are gonna get an unknown course at the end of every wave, even the final wave with Rainbow Road. So, there you have it. Those are all my predictions. I know they're probably all gonna be horribly wrong, and I'm gonna look like an absolute idiot, but that's okay. As long as we get good tracks, as long as, you know, we get a lot of cool stuff to try, a lot of cool places to race around, I really don't care. But these are my predictions. Let me know what you think, let me know what you want to see back, and thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.